time. Kind of one time. Hello everyone, welcome to AvgJoeWatchReviews, where we do more than just reviews. Today we're taking a look at the Tuseno, however you pronounce it. This watch is from Sweden and it's a micro brand, and we're going to take a full look at it today. But before we do so, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and click that notification bell, because that is the only way you're going to get alerted when a new video drops, which is happening every Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Also, by clicking that like button, that is the most charitable way to help support the channel. So I'm not going to waste any more time. With no further ado, let's just dive on into the review. All right, so before we get into the watch, I do have a personal note here from the owner. I do love that personal touch, so thank you so much, Alexander, for the note and for the extra cookies that you included, the Swedish fika they call it, or fika, tomato, whatever you want to say. But thank you so much for including that. And also we get an extra strap. I'll show that on the watch just a little bit later. Right here we have it on the shark mesh strap, and we do see the beautiful blue sunray dial. It is a showstopper indeed. This is the Panda version, and we do have, it's called the first 38, but ironically, this is actually the second model in the collection to come out. Why they call it the first 38? I don't know where the first comes from, but I could tell you the 38 is the case diameter. This also comes in a 42 millimeter diameter, so you can take your pick, and there's also different colors that you could choose from. They have the traditional Panda, they have other various color combinations, and I'll run a couple across the screen for you guys. But as you can see, there's nothing ticking here at all, so you can't tell whether or not this is indeed a automatic or a quartz movement. And even when I start the stopwatch function or the chronograph, you would still be a little bit like, this could be one of those 80-hour power reserve automatics, because it looks like it's running at 21,600 beats per second as opposed to the 28,800. But again, you would be wrong, because we were actually running the Seiko VK64 Mecha Quartz, or as some would say, the hybrid quartz movement. So very, very cool. And then when we stop the second hand and press the reset, check this out, because this is something that you don't typically see in a quartz movement. Boom. It actually snaps right back, as opposed to doing the sweep that you typically get with a typical or traditional quartz movement. So you would never know that this was indeed a quartz movement. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but this watch definitely leaves you guessing. Now, this does feature a sapphire crystal, and when we take a look at it in certain lights, check that out right there. Boom, boom. That's the AR coating working for you, so it doesn't completely wash the dial out. And we do have our trusty diamond selector, and I'm going to see whether or not we do truly have sapphire crystal. I wouldn't expect any less, and absolutely we do. So we take a look at the numerals. They are Arabic, very traditional and clean, has that just vintage vibe to it, and it is printed just like the Tuseno logo, and I can't even pronounce that. I think it's Gothenburg. Let me get that second hand out of the way there. I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it looks like Gothenburg. You guys can roast me down in the comments. And then we got that flyback once again. Now we do have applied indices. They are polished, as you can see, and check that out. You've got that railroad outer track there, and you do have the Panda dial sub-dials actually sunken in just a bit. As you can see, there's a little bit of depth there You can even see that it does kind of fall under the dial there. So right there we have the GMT subdial, the 24-hour indicator, whatever you want to refer to it as, AM, PM, does it all. And we do see that it's at almost at 2000 hours. You can even call it Army time. And then on this second hand or this subdial, this will actually track the minutes when you run the chronograph function. And we'll keep that running for now just so you get that effect here. But we do have a beautiful blue sunburst dial, and it is just, it's stunning. It really is stunning. It's really bright blue, especially in the sunlight. This thing really is a showstopper. So now we do have a fingerprint magnet all around the watch, as you can see, because it is high polish. So we do have high polish on the bezel itself. And we do have some brushing though as well on the case. So we do have some variation there. No chamfered edge here, which a lot of times you do see that in watches. And at this point we actually have just brushing, and the brushing is done very nicely. And we do see the sign crown and the coin edging on that crown. Do we have some polishing on the inner lugs, as you can see there. Okay, and we take a side view. We'll take a look at how the lugs sit. It's a pretty short lugs, so this should wear pretty well on the wrist, even as at a 38 millimeter. And I'll show it to you on the wrist very shortly, and as well as taking some measurements for you. And they do curve down slightly. We take a look at the bracelet, and the bracelet really will not hang over at all. So that's actually not going to be an issue, at least with the stainless steel mesh. And you can take a look. It is a quality mesh bracelet with your safety deploying clasp. And you just like any other one, you hook it in, you snap it into place, and there you go. The Tuseno logo is engraved on the buckle itself, and we do get a quick deployment or a quick change, quick release system. Just with your fingernail, you can take these on and off. There's your little latch, and it's so easy to do. We do have the leather here I'd like to show you, and this one does come with a butterfly clasp. Very nice touch. So what I will do is we'll put this on. So we just pivot it in the hole. We take our fingernail and we just boom, just like that. And we'll do the same thing here. Definitely makes for some quick video action without any editing, because I won't be needing any kind of tools. So what I'll do is I'll plop this on the wrist, or should I say throw it on the wrist. Today I'm actually wearing the About Vintage Diver. This is the by Scott Anderson, the 1926 at sea. Take a look at the Tuseno on the wrist here. I do have it sized to my wrist, and I'm going to say this. I did bring this up to the owner that the leather bracelet or the leather strap on this is indeed way too short. As you can see, I only have 2 more holes left, and I only have a 7-inch wrist, and this is actually fitting pretty firmly on the wrist. But as you can see how it sits on the wrist, it does wear very nicely. It actually doesn't wear like a 38 in my opinion. It actually looks a little larger, but we'll take this off. He did mention that these straps were meant for unisex watches, so that if you are to order these watches, that you shouldn't have a problem to ask for longer straps. I personally think it should just be automatic, that if you get one of these watches, that you should automatically get the longer strap. So just make sure that when you are ordering this watch, that you do specify, just in case, so that you don't get a short strap like I have here. Okay, and then we do have Tuseno branding on the inside, and I'm going to take a look at the case back for you, just so you can see what we have back here. Tuseno Göteborg. Born on the Swedish west coast, sapphire crystal, stainless steel, 316L, and it's got the Japanese hybrid movement, that VK64. So I'm going to take just a couple of measurements for you. We do know that this is indeed a 38 millimeter, but I will give you some case width here, and we're looking at a 11 millimeter. And what is our lug to lug? I'm really curious about that one. We are looking at like a 46 millimeter, not bad at all. And then our lug width, 18 millimeter lug width for this watch. So some good dimensions there. You shouldn't have a problem finding straps at 18 millimeters. So when we take a look at the handset, the hands are a bit tough to read in certain lights. As you can see, when I go in and out of light, the hands do have a tendency to disappear. They do kind of blend in with the dial. I don't expect lume with a dress watch, but I do expect to have legible hands, and these hands are a little bit tough to read, and they do get lost at times. So that one, I do struggle with. So that is going to be another knock on this particular watch. But I'm going to flip the camera around and give you guys some final thoughts. All right, some final thoughts on the Tuseno, whatever you want to call it. This is a beautiful watch, guys. And whether you put it on the leather strap or you put it on the shark mesh, this thing is a stunner. It's got some great brushwork and polishing, a lot of good details. It does have that distortion in the crystal, which is pretty cool. And I do like the fact that they put AR coating on it. Now, as you saw in the review, the hands do disappear in certain lights. So I'm going to knock the watch on that. I mean, the watch should be fully legible, and the fact that it is pretty busy with those sub dials and the hands on the sub dials, it's a pretty busy watch. And I just find that the handsets for the time is really, you have to really look at it, and under certain lights, they do disappear. The other knock I have on the watch I discussed earlier was the leather strap. He did say this was more of a unisex and that you can order longer straps. As you can see, we have 2 holes remaining for my 7-inch wrist. So I would say if you have a 7-inch or above, this is not going to work for you. But he did say he has longer straps. I just hope that he just automatically sends those longer straps to you, and that maybe you should ask for the shorter straps if you want one of those, because I think the default, especially since males are going to be predominantly buying these, are going to find themselves in trouble if in fact they have a 7-inch or above a 7-inch wrist for this particular strap. The shark mesh I had absolutely no issue with. Besides that, I think it's a quality watch. I like the Seiko Mecha Quartz movement. You can't really tell by looking at the watch what movement it's running. So if you're a automatic watch snob, this is not going to bother you. And if you need that smooth sweep, well, you definitely get it here. And look, at the end of the day, this is one of those kind of watches that you don't have to keep in a watch winder or keep winding it daily or every couple days. It's one of those grab and go watches. So that's my 2 cents, guys. You can keep the change, and always remember that there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time on AvgJoeWatchReviews. God bless, my friends.